The World Championship is the grandest prize of our great sport. It's been a long road here to Düsseldorf. For some, it's been bumpy, and for others, even treacherous. But for 4 teams, that journey ends tonight. And now, to kick it all off, Uma battaglia per la sopravvivencia, as South America's past and present collide. Complexity once ran the show, but their departure has opened the door for new contenders to break through and take over. Only one team will survive and advance. This is where the best become great. This is our World Championship, and this is Rocket League!
The wait is over. Rocket League's greatest weekend has arrived alongside the fans here in Düsseldorf, Germany. And to set the tone, it's a battle of the Americas. NIP in the south, Complexity in the north. Only one can stay alive in the lower bracket. Kickoff on your screen. Let's lock in.
Under the lights of Manfield Night, we have waited 362 days for this moment. And now it's time for Complexity and NIP to get underway in the biggest match of their lives. So far, looking for the center, but Complexity's offense as dangerous as ever. The road that's gotten them towards this point in this tournament has been, of course, the aggression. NIP have to be worried about that as they start their counterattack down the field.
For Complexity, it has been a long past couple of weeks. They played through the wild card stage, went 3-1, only losing to G2. And here they are up against their South American brothers, NIP, who are waiting patiently in the main event. Unfortunately, neither team's able to get the first series win, but here comes Mata starting us off with a counterattack.
You saw the promise from Mata back on Parabellum Esports. The 16-year-old gets picked up by NIP for moments like this and gets the scoring early on for NIP.
And against Crew, this is routine for NIP. They were so defensive. They played in their own half and only wanted to go for counterattacks. It felt like such a defensive approach. And right now, it's a similar story. Astramic, maybe he can put him up by 2, but CRR has him red. Nice little clear off the backboard. And what else do Complexity have?
Keys to victory for the ground game right now. It's NIP's turn to turn things around. They have to challenge Razebull in the air, but they have to take the ball away from Complexity as well, limiting the space that Complexity have to work with. Razebull through the corner. Passed down, immediately denied, shoveled out to the midfield, and a breakaway chance now for NIP.
And this is a completely different game. Rocket League feels different in front of a crowd on that main stage. How will the emotions be handled from either side? Complexity and NIP, they've got the experience now, but this is the World Championship. The pressure is on.
And AJG's trying to open up the box. He was forcing players towards the back corner, pulling defenders out of the play. NIP worried about that physicality, but do a nice job mitigating for the moment. A race up to the corner, grabbed from Mata, full in the tank, resources and availability here for NIP, as Complexity looked for the clear, but unsuccessful for the moment.
I also watched that series against Crew. A lot of solo plays for NIP. What got them going, especially in the beginning. I was extremely surprised to see the level that Bems was able to hit. But here comes Mata. He wants to get some respect on his name. CRR, nice counterattack. A lot of space in the air. It's over Astro, but still unable to get through the defense of NIP is Complexity.
Complexity favoring the solo plays to start, hesitant on defense, conserving their boost. NIP more than happy just to punch the ball downfield as AJG loses the challenge and loses possession. Into the corner we go. Razebull pokes it free just on a quick check. CRR will leave it back to his teammate. The tip of the spear holds back on the back line, but the offense can't swing through.
Slow little first touch there from Benz, and I'm happy to see them going for some midfield passes. A nice bounce in front of the net, saved last second by Razebull. Most amount of pressure we've seen out of NIP the past 30 seconds, but back down the other end we go. AJG, more space in the air, quickly red, and how about that clear from Astramic?
It's been an interesting road here for Complexity. Went to 7 against Oxygen, but a string of sweeps in the early rounds. They have looked absolutely deadly at times, and really gonna need that here as well. He's looking for the reset. 2 combined into the box, crashing for the moment. Numbers fly forward, back into play. This one kind of jets back to the midfield.
It was a gut-wrenching loss for both sides. in their main event appearance. NIP went to Game 7 against Crew, couldn't ice it up, couldn't close it out. Complexity went to Game 7 against Liquid. We all saw what happened with Oski and that double flip reset, double demo play. These guys are haunted by those Game 7s, and they want to make a change in this series.
On the prior counterattack, CRR still electing to find that physicality on the back wall. NIP do a nice job of picking up Ray's ball off the initial pop, taking him out of the air, not giving him space to get creative to force his teammates into a position. The passes haven't been there for Complexity. It's been a nice job by NIP to keep the cadence upfield into the blue half. The pressure has certainly started to mount. Complexity now two up. Big touch from... I think it was CRR who might have gotten that extra 50, but regardless, they fly back.
And that's where you have to be scared of Razebull, what he can do, extending rotations forward. Here he is again in the midfield, pass quickly to CRR. It's sniped to the top left, diving save by Mata, but Complexity aren't out yet. AJG off the backboard, double tap, a bump on the play, and the shot comes out.
Relentless pressure from Complexity built up for the past 3 minutes. AJG's 2 touches, weak clear from Benz, but he didn't really have much to work with there. The center field was completely locked away. Complexity, by sheer force, find their finding goal.
There was some assembly line rotations there from NIP, 2 players on the orange half, on the backboard, getting mixed up, scrambling, and that pressure finally makes them fold, and they're looking for the second one. 30 seconds to go.
AJG trying to get comfortable. CRR went up for the challenge, but was already beat out by NIP. A late goal to equalize, under 30 to play. Mata at the midfield, done so much for the offense just to help the counterattacks blossom. Razebull over 1, trying to work off the backboard. Here comes a follow-up from CRR. Numbers crash, AJG circles through the midfield. The pass cut down, missed. Razebull towards the ceiling. Benz has to play it to the corner.
Razebull pass out in the midfield, CRR off the backboard. Nobody's there to read it, and it's a 0-second buzzer beater for AJG.
It's never about if it's possible, it's just necessary from Complexity. A huge win by AJG, and the read to secure Game 1. A massive start to this series.
What else did we expect? All of that pressure in the final half of Game 1 was in favor of Complexity. This is the reason why they confidently beat them in the Spring Major, a 3-1 victory back in Boston, and they start out in Game 1 in similar shape, similar form, and they just don't know when to give up, Spaceman.
I mean, you just look at how NIP were playing this entire 5-minute match. Did such a great job in the ground game, allowing Mata to move upfield, give him space to work with to break down the counterattacks from Complexity to get chippy on those 50s. Challenging Razebull in the space was a huge factor to the early lead, but Complexity, again, just wither away the defense time and time again, winning the rebounds to set up this goal as well.
As we look at that Mobile 1 high performance replay, the 0-second goal, that has to feel so good on this main stage in front of this beautiful crowd here in Düsseldorf. And that was my main issue with NIP. I felt like they played so much defense up against Crew. A couple of good explosive counterattacks, but sustaining offense, sustaining pressure when moving forward felt impossible to them. I saw them getting boost stolen from them constantly. The demos came out from Complexity. NIP, their biggest challenge is transitioning, but holding that pressure, Spaceman.
And when they did it for 4 minutes, some odd change, they were able to keep Complexity at bay. That really is the big question mark for this squad. It's never been about results. They have found the regional championships to boot. They lost in 4 last time to Complexity back at Boston. They have history against this squad. But off the opening kickoff, we're going to see more aggression from NIP. They want to come out firing on all cylinders in the game, too.
I'm also looking for more quality attempts from NIP. Bam, solo play attempt, fake the flip reset, CRR on the backboard, nice control. And when I talk about quantity and quality, Spaceman, I mean, these guys had 79 shots against Crew, only 11 goals. Accuracy has to get picked up. The opportunities you're generating need to be better for NIP, and this could start them out on the right foot.
Complexity has never lost to South America on land since moving to NA. Current 4-0 record, undefeated. But the World Championship is always something a little bit different. Records are meant to be broken, and NIP certainly have the recipe. Into the back corner. Defense holds strong for the moment, turtling up as it might be, very low in the tank. Fem's having to work back out to the midfield. Mata just looking for the clear, but Complexity are denying everything.
And these are the moments right now where we have to put the pressure on NIP. Will they get out of their own half? And can they stay on the offensive half? When they push past the midfield, what else do they have to offer? Will they have risky rotations? Or are they gonna stay passive and let AJG embarrass you?
And the frequency of the challenges continues back at the midfield. The extra rebounds follow the way of Complexity. The double tap is so hard to read, with Mata doing all that he can, but it's simply not enough as Complexity strike first blood.
You can't give him that space on the backboard. You simply cannot. Complexity will bruise you if you do. This is going to be a one-sided game if this trend continues. NIP, nice clear down the other side. AJG respecting that pass. Playing some man coverage. This has been flawless out of Complexity.
It really feels like you're going to have to outshoot this squad you have on the opposite side of the field into the blue half if you are NIP. A little bump of the goal line, but nothing threatening. Recentering back into the box. Quick shot and blocked away. Corralled to the midfield. Numbers start to push on up. CRR out on rotation. Transition begins for NIP.
Oh, and this is what we need, the pass connection. Well, they couldn't find the execution. It's plays like that that will lead to glory, and you're seeing exactly why.
This is actually a smart touch by Mata. He knows Razebull's in a position to make this save, so instead of punching it back downfield, put it on an angle, allow Benz to get the rebound, and then when you get in front of the lane, you can secure that shot. Nicely done by NFP to recognize the opportunity.
We've got more than just one player throwing themselves forward, Spaceman. It's not a solo opportunity. Two players in that situation pushed up, got aggressive, and as a result, able to equalize. But for how long? Because Complexity got to be feeling the sting after that goal.
Avoiding one bump, but all quiet in the moment through the corner. AJG is still fighting for possession and extending the play. Rebounds continue to go the way of Complexity, but NFP start to break and do so nicely. AJG will be up in time, able to punch this through the side. Follow-up challenges continue to go the way of NIP into the blue half. The pressure continues. Hold on. Mata has a lot to work with. The dunk from Mata! Ridiculous!
He bullied his way through. Look at the first touch. It acted as a shot, but this man was able to follow it behind the ball and absolute obliterate the goal line.
Need that continuous pressure from NIP. Complexity now on the back foot, or so in game number one. If you're just joining us, welcome into the first match of the day. Dangerous kickoff.
AJG.
Used the way of NIP. And crashing into that offensive third, the pressure continues.
That was scary from AJG off the kickoff. He had to get a touch. Nice backflip to keep them in rotation and throw off the offense of NIP, who have found some resurgence in game number two. Confidence fueling them at this moment. Astromic, massive clear to the other side. CRR has to control it. And this is much better from the team in orange. And look at that cut in rotation. Little instances like that are necessary, and they continue to be fruitful for the Ninjas.
When the previous counterattack started for Complexity, CRR had no boost. He had to rotate early. Puts a lot of pressure on Razebull and AJG to break down the play upfield, force the defensive nip to overcommit. And if NIP can't respond, you're looking at a 2-2 game from Complexity, but how difficult will it be with such little time available upfield for Complexity? Razebull off the backboard, sets up to his teammate, punches it down mainstream, and CRR ties the game.
Right down mainstream indeed. It went all the way across the pitch to find Razebull, and he didn't even have to put it in the net. This man could just bounce it off the backboard and let CRR do the rest.
And that's that overwhelming pressure from Complexity. What helped them secure the victory against NIP in 4 games at Boston.
AJG.
These players know each other better than anyone.
I mean, that vision to find Razebull all the way across the field. Unbelievable. Astromic solo play over to Mata. NIP, quick response.
Just kind of breaks down to the midfield. CRR goes for the flip, but he was beaten out by Astromic. You're playing a 2-on-1 with so much space in the net. It's free real estate if you're NIP.
It's so good to see Astromic out here doing well on offense. While he didn't get that goal, this man is certainly the foundation, the pillar for their offense. And to get things going, he's got a lot of mechanics up his sleeve. They're utilizing a solo play. Complexity want to respond early. CRR fakes it on the backboard. 2 players up for NIP. This looks disastrous.
The boost management from NIP on defense has been astounding in this game too. They have not given Complexity much space to work with. Second touch, follow up through the corner. Mata gonna grab boost over ball, and he'll help out in the transition on the other side of the field.
Big shot, didn't work out. Here come Complexity, AJG, massive challenge. Backboard still under control, and there's a lot of space for Bems to work with. Wants a big flip off the backboard, and a slower approach from Astromic. They've got the lead, they don't need to overextend.
Conserving their tanks until the counterattack begins. NIP have done a phenomenal job of limiting Complexity's touches. Through the corner, not a lot of bully ball here. Still quiet at the midfield, but a pop 3 from AJG to Razebull. The tip of the spear for the offense for Complexity has been silenced in this series as Mata carrying, juggling, lets it fall through! It can't happen like that, but NIP find another.
It looked like he set his sights on the goalkeeper. He forgot about the ball, used his flip to get a little bit more momentum, and bully CRR on the backboard. NIP up by 2.
It's really just been a game of small adjustments and the quick decision to move downfield, burn the boost, force the challenge on the goal line when Complexity don't have much to work with. Nicely done by NIP here in game 2.
And that's got to give you so much assurance. Given what happened in the last game, Complexity were able to win on 0 seconds, and here they are looking for the third one. Couldn't tie it up even with a single goal, but they're definitely looking right now, Spaceman. Mata, flip reset, everyone no way, a double. Taking notes from Oski, and the setup for Astromic looked clean. Regardless, it's not gonna matter. Ninjas in pajamas. What a bounce back in game number 2.
The strength for Complexity in this series, the challenge to the corners, using the midfield to find those passes to set up for your teammates. We see it in the end of game 2. But NIP did a phenomenal job of neutralizing the forward offense from Complexity, limiting the backcourt touches, and conserving their boost for counterattack.
And look at the energy from the Ninjas right now. These guys are yelling across the booth here, screaming, getting the energy. Most certainly fueled by the crowd at this moment. And that was so much better. It felt like the entire series that I watched, I'm telling you, Spaceman, they just couldn't get on offense against Crew. But here they are, developing plays out of the midfield, going for creative mechanics with bumps behind the ball, feeling themselves certainly on that stage.
And NIP, their road here was something they had to fight for. They had to beat Furia at Boston. They do so. They qualify because of it. I believe it was about 1 point difference between them and Crew. And now they find themselves sitting here in front of Complexity. He loves playing beach football. Foot volley. I can read, I swear. I promise you. I promise you
hey man,
I can.
You know, sometimes you gotta de-stress a little bit. Go out there, play some foot volley on the beach, come back out, win some championships.
It's a very British thing. Foot volley.
Foot volley.
Foot volley.
And listen,
yeah,
I am convinced now on NIP. That game 2 really sold it for me. I thought Complexity was gonna come out here and stomp them. I'm not gonna lie to you. With the history, especially of Raise Bull and AJG in South America, coming up against NIP, I thought it was gonna be one-sided, but I have been proved wrong. NIP gonna put up a show.
Complexity take game 1, NIP take game 2. And now into our third match here of this best of 7 to open up proceedings here today. It's gonna be a bloodbath. The Bebs will follow through, extending, but leaves off. Second man now up. The island presses. Mata with a half flip will leave off. Rotation alive, but more pressure through the corner. The boys in orange moving upfield.
Look at this sustained pressure that I was critiquing earlier from NIP, and it's shot after shot as Astromic wanted to get a crossbar down read. We've seen that from Rise before. He's not going to follow in that same style, but it was a close effort. They're still on offense.
Complexity are so low on boost, they can't afford to take every single challenge from NIP. That certainly works for the boys in orange. You'd want to get more and more chances, more shots, more opportunities. Something will fall through, but Complexity playing it off the crossbar. It's an open net, and it's a lead for CRR.
And you can see right now, Mata is in the bullpen. Raise Bull takes him out and clears the path for CRR. At that point, we've seen it so many times. Raise Bull leaves the ball, goes for a demo, gets physical, and lets his teammates finish the job. And a much-needed response, 1-0 for Complexity. It's been a back-and-forth series, Spaceman.
We're starting to see the passes to the midfield spread out now, working through your own side.
CRR.
Long booming clears that do connect with a teammate, AJG. Looking for Raise Bull, has him in transition. The connection, and the bully from the Bull. He sees red, and he scores.
Of course it's Raise Bull. Look at this fake. The pass comes across. He can simply wait and catch that ball, watch the defender go flying by, and dribble it in.
That's the Complexity you're used to. Those are the infield passes they wanted in game 1, they worked for in game 2, and they find it here in the third. 2-0 early on here as AJG escapes and flies upfield, taking one with him. The first victim will fall. Power play for the moment.
There's definitely a reason why CJ did not want to bet against the Bull. And you're seeing why, the impact he has as an individual. Both of the goals for Complexity off of his broad shoulders, his work that he's put in. Maybe he gets them a third.
Picked up by Raisbull. And Bems will take it away. Possession, interception. No boost, but a teammate in front. The demo does help. All three are up, crashing for NIP. They have to be careful here.
Pass row, looking for a flip reset from the backboard. CRR crashes through, bangs it from the corner. But it's more and more fakes from Mata with a good bounce. Still, nothing too threatening. Better 50-50s, but Complexity calm and in the driver's seat for now.
That's the danger of clearing it right back into the defense. You got to be worried about a quick shot on the back line. But clear away from NIP. The defense has started to stand up a little bit taller for NIP here in the second half of this game.
Yeah.
But the offense just can't find what they want.
That was a good sequence, but hold on a second. There's an opening in the midfield. CRR getting aggressive. It's been most of the physical plays from these boys, from Complexity. But at this moment in time, they're up 2-0. They don't need to play too aggressive. They can sit back and wait for a couple of mistakes to get that third.
Not all demos nor bums are weighed the same, but it really has helped Complexity's offense start to thrive here in Game 3. Working off the backboard, the clears have been much more efficient. Back to the midfield, we'll grab boost. CRR following. Tries to set up for AJG on the opposite side, but we swing out perpendicularly, and AJG will fall back with Raisbull. Two stacking through the corner. Ben's trying to play on a one-on-one. We'll take one with him. The demo does connect, but CRR still finds the interception.
This definitely does feel like a game where Complexity are comfortable in their lead, their 2-0 game. Don't need to do much else. Focus on your defensive rotations. You've got to recover quickly and stop Bems from getting double taps like that.
It's been a couple of times where those back passes have not really paid off for Complexity. They got to be careful. Pass from the bottom. Left shot immediately denied. Complexity recognized the change of pace quickly and get in front of the ball. But here comes Mata. Nobody else around. Astromik doesn't want to overcommit.
Look at the fake from AJG, being patient behind the ball. They just want good 50-50s. They want to run the clock down and get demos. Astromik, the only player standing from NIP on the offense, it's still stuck in the half Complexity.
Ninjas in pajamas are so close to finding their first goal here. 60 seconds to play. Trying to get very physical on the goal line. Force a double commit from Complexity. But Raisbull has a lot of space here.
What?
And 20 in the tank.
You just can't give Raisbull that kind of space, especially when you're in the final minute. Everybody on NIP has to push up. This is their last chance.
Extension through the corner, denied, follow-up chance.
Could be it.
Bump, kill, save from CRR. How does he make that read?
We saw that so many times in the wild card too, and yet again it's coming out on the main event stage. CRR, the goalkeeper of legend, showing up, 20 seconds remaining. You think this has to go in, that has to be the goal. Otherwise, Complexity surely gonna take game number 3.
Even when Complexity are on the back foot, this has been a game of control. They have had every single answer to every question NIP throw at them. Owen's a bit wide, maybe one's for the road. Regardless, though, a 2-1 series lead at that. Complexity looks so strong in this Game 3. And they really changed pace and made it work.
And I think the biggest statement from Game 3 was just being able to withstand a lot of that pressure, because let me remind you, Spaceman, after the first kickoff, NIP were in control for what felt like most of the first 2 minutes. And Complexity didn't budge. The defense stood tall, as we can see the hype. The KC flags are already out. This isn't even a KC matchup. Düsseldorf is definitely going to be going crazier and crazier as the day continues. But my word, Complexity. The defense was there in the first 2 minutes, then started to build something on the offense that was worth noting, and it's mainly because of course, the ball.
You look at overall demos, 4 for Complexity. It was the physicality.
4 shots for Complexity, 11 for NIP. Complexity didn't even need to do anything whenever they got the first 2 goals. They were just sitting back and letting NIP run around them.
The boost management defensively, something we had praised NIP for in Game 2. Similar situation here for Complexity in Game 3. They weather the shots, they hold the storm off. NIP couldn't crash as much as they wanted, nor did they find that open space in the offensive third. Complexity did a very nice job of clearing the ball away quickly, not wasting time on their counterattacks. And of course, the infield passes that were so beneficial towards them. The dividends paid off, a 2-0 lead. And now we go to Coliseum, a chance for Complexity to go up on series point.
A chance indeed to repeat that same scoreline. However, this is not a best of 5, Spaceman. This is a best of 7. Going to be that much harder to close things out. They were not able to do so against Team Liquid. They want to change that narrative and show up with the ice, but they're going to have to do it within these first 5 minutes. And then even after that, we only have a match point.
Now, do the changes for NIP going into Coliseum have to be as one-dimensional as getting more aggressive through the corners, working through the defense, and holding onto their boost for those powerful counterattacks? Like, what do they need to change?
If we're talking about NIP, I think I need to see more creativity from them on offense. You think back to the game that they were able to take off of complexity. We got the solo plays behind the ball, the air dribble bumps. Something spectacular is needed to break through the defense of complexity. Taking simple shots outside of the box, trying to wear and tear them down is not going to work. We are proven exactly how strong this defense of complexity is. They withstood, what, 2 to 3 minutes of constant pressure? Something has to be special for NIP to get a goal.
Can't just be the same old, same old. Complexity will read it. AJG finds 2 through the corner. And the crossing pattern finds the clear. For the moment, you can breathe it from NIP. Off the backboard, a little sharply, but AJG will corral and extend. 40 in the tank, burning all of it to get it under Bems. He will be unsuccessful, but regardless, the counterattack does start for NIP. Mata with a quick shot and a better save from CRR.
CRR, the pre-jump save on the goal line. I mean, if there's a player you want to take out, it's him. He's got the goalkeeping gloves well equipped, and he's been getting every single save, finding all the reads. And here they come on offense. He can do it both, Spaceman.
That rebound is disgusting. Raisbull takes it around 1, the 50 for the second, bumps the third. CRR slots it, buries it. Complexity with another lead.
Of course, who's behind the ball for that play that developed? It's Raisbull. This man is putting in the work against NIP. And you think back to the true neutral days, it was Raisbull and AJG dominant in South America, but the newbies are here to prove a point.
And this is just a win off the kickoff. Astromic has so much space to clear this away. Follows up a missed touch by CRR, and Bems was ready for the pass. It was orchestrated from NIP. They're able to slow the pace off and then kick it up into high gear once they're in position, changing the cadence on complexity. It works out.
Quick response from NIP. You love to see it. Potentially getting in overtime if things start to cascade down and slow up on the pitch. Mata doesn't want to go up in the air. It's a predictable air dribble, stays grounded, and also takes the boost. This is a good form of possession that could lead to something, but CRR, he's got other plans.
Half a game of Rocket League left to go here in game 4. Still a best of 7. Raisbull punching it downfield. Found CRR in transition. AJG clears it away.
Mata.
And shoveled out to the midfield, backing on up. CRR puts it back in play, and Raisbull picks up his own teammate. Working through the corner, extra touches from complexity. Dangerous at that. Defensively, NIP have to be struggling.
Not the best touches out of NIP either. Just saw a complete whiff on the ball, I'd say, giving possession immediately to complexity, and as a result, they've been getting their boost taken, starved out. Complexity are hunting the second goal, looming for them, and it's CRR again.
NIP are electing to go back to the ground game at the midfield, but Complexity are free in the air. They have been unchallenged, unbothered, and moisturized for the majority of this series.
Yeah.
2-1 lead. With all the space to work with, they're always going to find that angle.
And I think there's a world where NIP thought Raisbull was going to get the double tap, so of course you commit somebody to try and pre-jump block that first shot, which makes it a lot easier for CRR to come through. But another response, these guys, they're handling the pressure well and finding little lanes on offense.
2 kickoff wins, 2-time CRR gives lane to Mata and company. An equalizer with 2:02 on the clock. 2s across the board. We got a tie game.
We've gotten the back and forth one. I still feel like the possession has been in favor of complexity, but NIP, the little bursts on offense have been wonderful. And that creativity I said was lacking has been found for the Ninjas.
It's going to take a lot more than a kickoff win to break down complexity. It's also going to work on the counterattacks, but the interceptions have to be there. They're losing the 50 game through the corner consistently to Raisbull. He's been a nuisance on their own side of the field. CR will pick this one up, carrying, finds a bump. Raisbull doesn't have the boost to make that challenge.
The difference now is complexity can no longer play as passive. They don't have the security, don't have the lead. They've got to take an extension forward. That could lead to a crack in the armor, but they found it themselves. Astromic off the backboard and the hard work of Mata.
Raisbull has no boost, so he's out of the play. CRR gets pushed off the backboard. AJG thought that challenge would go his teammates' way and has to circle up to the upper post. By that time, it's too late. NIP starting to break down the blue wall here. I know Carmine Corps fans are going to hate that one. But 118 to play.
Race Bull.
Through the corner off the kickoff. Complexity trying to hold on to possession.
What's going on? Race Bull behind the ball, couldn't get a touch, and somehow he ends up behind it. That was such a weird recovery. It didn't work out for him. Didn't look the best. AJG been fluent off the backboard. NIP, I am just impressed right now. Their ability to stay on defense, dodge the demos, or get taken out and still find saves like this from BEMS.
Even when the pressure's mounting, the resolve from this squad is unreal. Off the backboard,
That
second touch, CRR secures tie game.
A little bit too slow for NIP. One player on the backboard. BEMS needs to get a touch. You've got to disrupt the bull in that situation. If you're not finding anything, it's of course going to be a 3-3 game for Complexity.
It might come down to the wire. Felt like these games so far have been just that. Back and forth we go in this series. A game apiece for both teams. For Complexity take the lead in game 3. Trying to do so here in game 4. Through the corner, CRR getting physical, looking for the demo, avoiding the pressure. NIP just trying to get back to the midfield.
That defense does have moments of weakness for NIP, but they have been comfortable in their own half. Once they get a counterattack in against Complexity, they can find it. Good 50-50 from Astramic. Another one. 2 leads to some space for BEMS. Flip reset, saved it, but didn't use it in time. And CRR, final 10 to go for Complexity.
AJG swung through, he got boost as well, so the offense can kick into high gear. Game clock will be turned off if they keep it up. We'll go to the golden goal opportunity in game 4.
Into OT we go. This is surely gonna be ridiculous stuff. NIP, they've been dealing with a lot of defense, so much pressure. Wondering, do they falter? Do they back down even more in OT and give space to the menacing bull?
Well, they can't give Complexity space in the air. Whether it's AJG or Raise Bull, they have to start winning those challenges at the midfield. 2 will commit up. AJG looks for the bump.
BEMS.
You have to clear this if you're BEMS. CRR, the only backline for the moment for Complexity, leads it on a dime.
Raise
Bull
Bull
looking for the bump, but it's cleared away, and we play on.
What a touch from BEMS, and then the play from Mata to dodge the bull like a matador and come out on top. We remain in the OT.
These clears have not been great from NIP, but they are getting boost. That's the positive. Complexity sending the house time and time again. Mata carrying, trying to get it over the bull. He will get punished, but possession still here for NIP. Into the center lane, back to midfield. The rotation begins, and the transition for NIP has to start.
I think you've got to capitalize off of the work that Astramic has been doing, but hold on a second. Doesn't get that read. Could have been disastrous for NIP. A good 50-50 in favor of the orange side, and they've been winning a lot of challenges. It feels like it's going to come down to that second man, back and forth attempt, but Raise Bull opts for the boost instead.
And Mata can play this slowly, but elects to go for a shot. Taken away, Complexity challenging yet again. Raise Bull gonna slow, wait for his teammates to get into position. You got CRR on the left wing, AJG at midfield. If things go wrong, they're ready to pick up the ball.
There's that second man for NIP. I think that's where the real threat is on offense. Try and capitalize off of these challenges that have been going your way in the midfield. Don't let CRR do this to you because he's looking for something off that backboard.
They're trying to force a double commit, and you can't blame them with how they've played this game. Astramic 1v1.
The air dribble
finds the bump. He just has to roll in, but it's off target by a hair, and AJG will clear it away.
CRR had already pre-jumped it, but the shots are still falling in for NIP. Complexity stood tall, but for how long? And now there's space in the midfield. They can breathe a little bit.
They keep playing it into the corner. AJG doesn't want to take an overcommit, but he gets the corner grab through the midfield. A full tank for the moment. So much to work with here in the resource department if you are Complexity. Booming clears are available. Infield passes as well.
Mata wants something off the backboard. Another 50-50. That's where the second man can come through. It's plays like that that are the bread and butter for NIP. Second man follows the 50-50. That's got to be their way in.
BEMS was able to grab a full tank.
Another one.
That's going to be an easy read. Not the greatest touch from Raise Bull. It's still back out. Third man has to stall. It will be Raise Bull in that position. 2 will commit to the right side. One call comes through Complexity.
Where is that accuracy right now out of NIP? I feel like they've had a couple of chances. AJG, backboard read. Mata's there. The follow-up is too slow. And this goal line defense has to be picture perfect
That's great rotational awareness from NIP to have a scout in position to pick up that challenge, avoiding a Game 4 overtime. The loss would have been so much, but AJG with another 50.
Take it back now to Bems, the backboard reach, the overhead touches. These guys not missing, not skipping a beat. However, Astromik doesn't have boost, can't get the demo. This has slowed down a little bit in the OT. Astromik does actually find the demo. It's not a good bounce. Somebody in the air has to recover. And Maada, again, just wants to keep this ball in the corner for as long as possible.
The team plays have started to break down, so now we look at tendencies. CRR still through the corner. AJG still grabbing a full tank. They want to conserve their boost and wait for opportunities on those counterattacks where they can poke it free quickly and give it up to AJG or CRR to carry it forward for a chance. AJG trying, but the interception goes back to INP before we change possessions yet again.
Still no whiffs on defense. It's been close. Couple of moments where you think it could be what breaks through and ends this OT. Where's the demo? There it is from Astromik. Maada, 1v1 situation, opted for a better 50-50 and just couldn't get him past it. NIP on offense.
Possessions haven't been there for Complexity. They've struggled to hold on to the ball on the other side. Can't say the same about NIP, but we still play on. Almost 5 minutes here in OT.
And the pressure is certainly even more for NIP. Think about what happens if Complexity does win this game. They go on match point, and then it's a 3-game win streak needed from the Ninjas. The pressure falling on their shoulders in this one.
Some indecisiveness for the moment. Who wants to go for the ball? It's wide open, and the defense was unsure for about 20 seconds, and that's all Complexity need.
The first backboard miss from the defense of NIP. They've been handling that so well, effortlessly, in every single moment besides that one touch out of Complexity, and they're ready to punish. Match point in our first series.
There was a slight pause on the goal line. Who wanted to take the challenge, pick up possession, and try to move it downfield? NIP were unsure. Complexity sent the house. And finally, those rebounds start to go their way in Game 2 and 3. Kicks into high gear here and finds them a Game 4 victory. Current 3-1 series lead for Complexity.
And this feels, I'd say, how most people had predicted this series to go. When you came into this one, you look at the history, look at what's happened previously between both teams, and we do also get a confirmed timeout for NIP, which is quite interesting. We're already on match point, but they want to take those extra 60 seconds to talk it over, figure things out before we get into that potential final game.
I mean, now's the time to do it. You lose one more game, you're done with this series. Or in a lower bracket.
Especially after a devastating OT loss like that.
You played so well at the midfield. You made a lot of great adjustments with boost management.
How was their game space?
It just came down to, again, one small mistake. Complexity have been in this situation before. I think a lot of us do forget. The road Complexity took through North America to get to this point, they've seen the best of the best. Consistently, they know that they can't make those mistakes. And right now it's paying off as they need one more game to continue their ticket to a potential Grand Finals appearance.
You can see the meditation now from NIP. It's exactly why it was called The Nerves Must Be Hitting. You're on the main stage. The Düsseldorf crowd is getting louder and louder. It's filling up here in the arena. Everything at stake. This is an elimination match for both sides.
Can't imagine the pressure knowing that one more loss, your champs run is done.
Not just your, this is the whole season, Spaceman. Everything that you grind for. Potentially one game away from fading out of your sights. NIP, what are they going to do after this OT? What change can they make, Spaceman?
It was the duo of Astromik and Bems on the club earlier in this season that mattered the most. Will they step up in the most crucial game so far of 2023 for their organization? And all it takes is one good swing, one good kickoff, and NIP are back in this series.
It looks like production is trying to make the players feel the vibrations of all the noise in this crowd as we do head to Oasis. Match point for Complexity.
Everything comes down to this for Complexity, making their run to the lower bracket possible. NIP, your season on the line. And off the kickoff, pressure upfield, 2 at a time. Complexity will work back in transition.
Here we go, Maada. This man has been doing work. Remember back to that bump play. Astromik, the leader, the team captain, the man who really won all of our hearts in that interview. He doesn't want to see his season end and go home right now against Complexity, who are fired up, and leading way is the Bull.
Well, this is a young squad in Ninjas in Pajamas, but on Complexity, seasoned veterans. It's a very different matchup across the board. Both teams have history against one another. Raise Bull around 1, trying to work around Mata, will not have the same success and will lose the boost. Resources in the tank as Bems finds the clear.
You gotta deal with CRR, who continuously crashes your own net, takes your boost, then looks for a demo. Physical plays have been beautifully implemented. If you are Complexity, nice dribble too from CRR. These guys just don't give away possession. Look at that play. The first touch is to himself, gets around the defender, and because of it, they can build out on offense. This all started from that one dribble space, man.
It's been a lot of one-on-ones to start, but a lot in the cards for AJG. Huge save from Mata to keep this game at 0.
Heroics out of NIP on the goal line. It keeps them tied up, but for how long? Because CRR is gonna go for the bump. He doesn't have the boost, so he can't find Bems. But Raise Bull, no boost at first. He took the corner boost, and here he comes.
Complexity are stealing everything out of NIP's half. It's gonna be very difficult for the Ninjas to break out. Finally, they do so, but it gives them time to breathe, to get boosted to midfield, to work through their own corners, and try to start a counterattack. For the moment, though, they keep losing these one-on-ones. They keep losing the one-on-ones, but it's a team bump. AJG was in position. Raise Bull just couldn't get out of the way.
Raise Bull is rotating out. AJG found him, and then now he's pre-jumping in the midfield. I don't think he's worried about that mistake at all, but here comes Mata. Mid-air demo play from Astromic opens the gate.
Small mistakes will cost you at the World Championship, and NIP punished with a demo and find the first lead of this game.
And at that point, it looks like he's just creating an opportunity space, man. You're floating up, you're trying to block the shot. You don't want to worry about if somebody is trying to be a heat-seeking missile and take you out. NIP, good response. They're up by 1.
Mata, the newest addition to this roster, done so for a reason. It's paid off. They need everybody to contribute to keep this series moving. Bems from his own side holds the reset, uses it now. Over 1, double tap won't be there. Nice job by AJG to get out in front.
It's a routine play for Complexity's defense. Astromic is getting more and more physical. He just bumped AJG out of the way. And that's where the team captain shines the brightest. Here he is behind the ball once again, saving the flip, dodging through the defense all by himself.
Keep your eyes on me and watch me style. Astromic from the ceiling, holds it, uses it, and baits them both.
You have to respect him. You have to respect that shot. He's got his flip from the ceiling. You don't know when he's gonna use it. And of course, if it's Astromic behind the ball, it's going to be one heck of a shot, and he knows it. Mind games you out of the way and puts him up by 2.
Solo efforts aren't enough for the moment. NIP need more as a team, as a unit upfield. It's been all of Complexity when it comes through the corner, but NIP with a 2-0 lead. And can they keep building off of this? Complexity just looking for their first goal here in this game.
And NIP are up against so much pressure. Even the stats does not work out in their favor. Teams are 0-15 in series on land after calling a timeout, down 1-3. It'll be the first time we've seen one take a victory against a team that's on match point, of course, in this environment. And they just might do it if they can waste time. 90 seconds to go.
Slow down to the midfield. Raise Bull pops it for CRR. Finally, some infield passes for Complexity. NIP so good on the individual challenges into the ceiling. Mata, I think he was either looking for Astromic to push up, but regardless, it still puts pressure on Complexity to make a play.
Yeah, and he might have thought Bems had rotated in instead of going all the way back, opting for that pass on the left side. Like you said, Spaceman, it's better to play safe in this situation. You're up by 2. You don't want to give Complexity an inch. They're going to take a mile, of course. And Mata behind the ball, slow play.
They can hold on to this 2-goal lead. We will be going to game 6. Season still on the line for NIP. Series on the line for Complexity. A demo helps. And Mata, the reset over Raise Bull, can't find the goal. It keeps Complexity's hopes alive in this game.
Astromic, he's been the one facilitating the demos. Not only did he get that solo play, but he's also been involved in every single demo, getting aggressive, getting in the face of Complexity and fighting fire with fire. Also finding saves like that. This man could do it all.
Low in the tank for CRR. Raise Bull will have to fall back. AJG just trying to find the clear, but you're burning time if you're NIP. And they will do so successfully. All it takes is 5 extra seconds. And with that, this game 5 is done. We are guaranteed 6 as NIP respond.
And they've done it. They took the timeout against a team that was on match point. And somehow, some way have found recovery. The nerves under control. Ninjas, they're not out of it yet, Spaceman.
They didn't give Complexity as much space as I'm sure RLCS is accustomed to. They start taking those individual challenges from the sidewall. Mata steps up, Bem steps up.
But there's only one player, really.
Astromik with 5 shots, the saves, the
Right.
demos. Like, he was everywhere on the field.
Yeah, Astromik, this man was involved in every spot on the field, and you'll see it in the replays. He's getting every single bump, it feels like. The solo plays, that mid-air flip reset into a demo, that's just too much to handle. And there's a reason why Complexity are now going to be taking a timeout. They want to cool off whatever Astromik just started.
Well, you saw it in the Mobile 1 high performance replay. It was consistency from NIP, but a quick timeout for Complexity. They will think things over, try to reestablish a baseline and get the momentum back on their side as they go into game number 6.
This doesn't feel like there's much that you're trying to change. If you're Complexity, it really is just dumping water on the fire that NIP have started. This is a matter of cooling them off because they looked good in that game. They were on point with the vision, the demos, didn't see any awkward plays or mispositions from the defense that we had gotten earlier in the series. NIP have somehow figured out exactly how to play against Complexity.
Complexity, the first team in this best of 7 to take 2 back-to-back games. Whether or not that spells success for them going into Neo Tokyo is completely up to the design of the players, but as of now, they just need one more, and that's all that it takes.
Just think about what this means now for Astromik. I mean, this guy was playing, of course, in South America when RLCS and AJG were reigning over that entire region on true neutral, and Astromik was 1-6 against true neutral during the RLCSX, only winning 1 best of 5. How good would it feel to knock them out at the World Championship on the main stage in the main event? You can understand exactly why he is going Super Saiyan on that field.
3-1 record through the wild card for Complexity. They played against the best of the best. The only team they couldn't beat was G2. But both teams currently sit in the lower bracket. And now is the time for Complexity to answer the call in Neo Tokyo. Or do we go to 7? Do NIP have the answers, the weapons to send us to Champions Field?
Timeouts have already played such a big role in getting a team a victory. Will that continue on for Complexity? Astromik almost with a good start, but nobody able to back him up as his team did get taken out. AJG rushing to the other side.
How many times in this series have we seen AJG get a second touch and a win through the corner? It's been a headache for NIP. As they get back to the midfield, 2 on the back line. Bems will try to find his teammate. Astromik was waiting, instead falls off and plays for boost. For the moment, though, the transition does break down. Complexity have numbers up to handle this ball.
Nice play there from AJG, but he got smacked out the way, and RLCS understands there's more space on the field. Doesn't want to give it immediately to Bems, but the control has been found for NIP. Tossing the ball in front of the net, just testing it, seeing if it's able to withstand some of this pressure.
Almost 1 minute gone and a bit of fanfare from both teams. Still looking for our first goal here in game 6. A 50 that goes the way of NIP, but possession for Complexity into the hands of RLCS. Can only juggle as far as Mod is allowed. With nothing in the tank, a booming clear, and another one at that. We trade possessions, vying for a spot in the midfield.
RLCS knew that clear was gonna bang all the way to the other side. He was lurking, unfortunately unable to get a touch, but that would have been catastrophic for the defense of NIP. Could be a transitional game that's needed from Complexity, or a flip reset attempt from AJG.
You're gonna have to peel one defender up towards the backboard to keep him alive and shut down the play. AJG on the carry. Did enough to cause panic, but not enough to finish. RLCS has done this many, many times to many, many teams, and already NIP getting up to make that challenge.
And a lot of those teams, like you said at the beginning of the series, are South American teams. Complexity 4-0 against Sam on land. They're confident, they're comfortable. They know they have the tools to dismantle NIP, but it's all got to come out within the next 2 games.
NIP unable to clear into a possession. Complexity cutting down those transitions very quickly.
Big clear. DRR, he's up early. The backboard read, Mata, nice 50-50, but Astromik is alone on defense. Beautiful first touch, and a better 50-50.
Here comes Raiseball. It's not going to be powerful enough to force the follow-up attempt, but it will give warning to NIP. They have to keep numbers available. 2 into the corner. AJG finds one. It'll fall down sharply, but handled and corralled. NIP is still just trying to find the clear.
We've seen a lot of mid-air bumps in this World Championship, and it hasn't stopped in this series. And a ridiculous touch from Raiseball. How did he get it out there? AJG, nice follow-up. The saves still finding their way for NIP.
It's going to take those kind of saves to keep you involved in this game. But Complexity are showing you their hand right now. They're going to send the house on every single push-up field. It's up to NIP to respond. One clear out inside of the box. The net was open for a moment, but you don't want to overcommit and make a mistake.
Flurry of shots for Complexity. Maybe they take the bait and extend forward. They do. Astromik reads them like a book, gets the dunk, and gets the first goal.
Sometimes it's just easy to copy what the other people are doing, and that's exactly what Astromik does.
It's always Astromik.
It was open in the center lane. Nobody else was around to make the touch for Complexity. He beats them on the jump, makes the jump into the pre-read. And it's beautiful work from NIP.
He wants it bad. He wants it so bad to take down Complexity. His former Sam brothers. Raiseball flip reset. Almost off the crossbar and in. Complexity have been within centimeters, it feels like, Spaceman.
Well, now they're just trying to find those passes. CRR can win a second touch. Will do so. Follow up from Raiseball. And there we go. Complexity find it.
And it's CRR behind the ball. AJG, look at the movement of this ball. The possession was flawless. And that is routine. Want to know how to carry a ball out to the other side and put on a good shot. That's exactly how you do it.
It's been a bit of chaos on both sides, but close quarters engagements have really helped both teams on offense. Finding opening goals, a tie game to boot, a minute 28 to play. Bems juggling, carrying, double tap, unavailable. CRR clears.
You'll notice NIP are getting more risky, sending the house. They just want, or excuse me, sent one player up for the mid-air demo, as one is also behind on the air dribble. That's 2 players taken out. AJG fakes Bems and booms it to the other side. Not sure what we're gonna get out of Complexity, who have been just going for big clears. We know what they're capable of, but will it come out? Flip reset opportunity from AJG. Fakes the entire team and puts him up.
I feel like we've been waiting for AJG to make his mark in this series. Fake 2, reset over the last, and gives Complexity a necessary lead here in Game 6.
That might just be the final dagger against NIP to knock them out of the tournament. 57 seconds to go.
Getting some 50s here if you're NIP. The backline is secure. You can keep numbers up here. Through the corner, a grab for Bems. Continue to challenge, continue to push this one-on-one. But a huge 50 from Complexity. AJG grabs everything, and Raiseball watches the sky to the left.
What risk does NIP take? The ball is moving now, stuck in their own half. Nobody was behind it. It doesn't look very organized from the Ninjas, and this is their entire season on the line. Their run at the World Championship might just come to an end.
They're just struggling to clear. They're playing it on the back pass. They're playing towards each other. They're missing touches off the backboard.
CRR.
That's a dagger from CRR. A dangerous shot and a necessary one as Complexity have a 2-goal lead.
Oh, and CRR, he's just twisting the knife at this point. A backboard whiff from NIP. The moments where you need to come up clutch, unable to do so.
A chance off the kickoff.
Oh, that's not a fake kickoff.
But Complexity are too smart for it. Hold on. Is it enough? It doesn't look like it. Complexity weather the storm. They keep Mata at bay. They set the tone, they execute, and they do what they've always done. They step up against South America. They're now 5-0, and they move on.
NIP knocked down, out of the tournament, eliminated